This is John, Vintage Fisherman. Hey, after doing some reels I wasn't crazy about, I get to do one I love. Bought this at auction. I think I paid 20 bucks for it. It's rough, folks. I had to save it. Got a bent handle. We'll have to fix that. Or I may have another handle for it. Probably will use it at some point. I say it about every Ambassador, and I got 60 of them sitting on the shelf that will never get used, but you know what I mean. It's a sickness. Let's go ahead and take that handle. Now, it's a 10 millimeter, but I just use it. And it's left-hand threads. It's a left-hand reel. A lot of times I'll take these 6501s and put the end caps on a 5501 frame. And that way I get a bait clicker with a narrower, easier to cast frame. Okay. I had it loose. There we go. And we'll take that snap ring out of there. Try not to lose it. Just get you a little corner of a screwdriver started. Sometimes you have to go down in screwdriver size. You'll get a little small one like this. I've done a bunch of these reels. This is nothing new for me. But I like doing them. So this channel's about doing stuff you enjoy doing. I throw an Ambassador in about once a month. I'm getting at least one Ambassador done. You can just see it's just dirty. Somebody just did not take care of it. It's a 3-ball bearing reel. There's one right there in the handle. Go ahead and take the cap off. Okay, it's got the retainer on it. It's still stuck up in there. Whoa. Sometimes these things don't want to come out. There we go, we got it. Got a lot of oil in it. Somebody was giving some maintenance mechanically. That'll make it cast better. These things clean up really nicely. Even in the roughest shape, they always run. We'll clean that up in just a minute. There's your axle shaft. Pop that loose. Bearing comes out. We'll clean that. You got a snap ring right here that just get a hold of it, pull it out. And your centrifugal weight cage comes off. And then your shim and bearing. I set the bearings over here to the side. Those bearings are probably just fine. We're going to give them a little bit of grease. I'll check them out here in just a minute. Let's go over here. 3 Phillips head screws. I think somebody dropped it in the mud and drug it around, just by the looks of it. We'll come back to that. Here's your level line. Spin it all the way over to one side. Take your pawl out of it. I never have to replace these pawls. I don't know, man. I've got extras, but I never have to put them in here. All right. Take a pair of needle nose, tweezers, or whatever. Didn't want to come out. There it comes. Drop that out there. take your keeper out. Slide your worm, slide the tube, take that out, spin that up so you can clean out from under it good. That's ready to go. Here is your bait clicker. You got 2 plastic spacers to go with that. This one has, I like this, it's got the snap ring right here. Take that snap ring out. Keep that, pull that gear off. This cap comes off and there's shims underneath the cap. It's 2. And there's that. Clean that up good. Over on this side, you've got 2 screws. Take those out. You got your bearing, which will oil up. You got it's a shim basically, then a washer. We'll clean that up. We got an anti-reverse dog on here, which I'm going to pop out of the way and leave it on there. I used to take these off, and you don't really have to. You can clean it just fine like this. That shim comes out. You push the button in, and then you can lift up and pull your pinion out. You clean that just like that. You got wavy washer. Let's get this thing apart. This has got the 2 washer drag system. I don't think I have carbon tex for those, but I'll check. But that's the whole reel. Clean it up and make a pretty one out of it. I'm going to go ahead and clean it right now, and I'll be back to put it back together. It's John. I'm back putting this old 6501 back together. This is from, it's a 01 0002, so it's, I want to say it's from year 2001. No, it's from January 2000. It's revision 2. It's in really good shape. Once it cleaned up, look how crisp everything is on it. There's some discoloration here that I couldn't get out of that side plate for whatever reason. But, you know, I'm going to use this reel, so that's not the end of the world. Well, I am going to upgrade the drag. If I have the drag to upgrade. Let's see if I've got what I need here. I keep my Ambassador drags in one place. So this is the 1 drag washer I need. It covers for that one. And then it seems like the other one's the one I always have trouble finding. Sometimes I just have to not worry about it. Yeah, I don't seem to have. I don't know what's in this set. On that. Nope, see, those are different. Yeah, it's hard to find the right set for some of these in between years here. Wait a minute. There it is. That's a 7,000 kit, but I don't have any 7,000s to be rebuilt right now, so we'll rob one and I'll order another one. Okay. Actually, I can get two washers, both washers I need out of the 7,000 kit. So, okay, there we go. I'll save those other ones. They're not bad. So that's kind of how I do things. I've got bearings, but there's nothing wrong with the bearings out of this reel. In bad shape. All right, so let's start out putting the level line back on it. Put the tube in, put your line guide on there, and it slides up into, that thing's still kind of dirty. Hold on. Ain't have any dirt in the reel. Yeah, got a little bit of dirt out of the top of that. This slides in here. This goes up into that groove. And then I put the thing in backwards. It makes sense, doesn't it? Let's do this right. Come on. There we go. Put your worm gear in. And then your keeper goes on. Just like that. And there's still dirt in that. I'm going to change out my parts washer today. It's past due. And then we'll drop the line guide, which looks brand new. I swear this reel hasn't got much use at all. We'll put it in there. If it doesn't want to seat, put your finger. Well, that went right in for me, so I really couldn't show you, but you can put your finger on it and just put a little bit of pressure and turn the gear, and it'll pop right in place. And put your cap on. Actually, because this is going to get used in salt water, I should have put a little grease on there. I got a rod waiting on this reel, and if I don't use it I may turn it into a 5501. I may take the end caps off this reel and put on a 5501 frame and make a narrow 6501. Basically, it'll have the bait clicker and stuff. Give it some good oil. Roll it everywhere there's a bushing. And that's that. You can see it. All right. Let's build this. This got these two shims going right there, and this little black cap goes over top of them. It's like that. Whoops. And I flipped them both out of there and put them back. I don't know how I managed to do that this morning. This goes on there like that. This gear, give it some good oil. I like this Boca lightning lube. Man, that's nice stuff. And then it gets a little snap ring, and you take your needle nose tweezers. Got these at Harbor Freight also. Let's pop it right on there. Now, we're going to put the palm plate on here. A little grease on each one of those where the screws thread in. Just a little dab. This goes on like that. Let's give it a little bit of oil. These two spacers go on like that. Okay. And then we get to line it all up. You got to hold, it's just a pain. You got to hold that down just a little bit. And don't do that. It sometimes works against you. We'll have one in the mornings, I believe. Let's just try to get it in there. Close. There, got it. Oh, got it and let it go. If you got it in there right, when you throw the lever, the bait clicker on, it'll move that little tab. Let me get up in the camera here. It'll move that little tab up and down. Put this on there. So you probably are wondering, well, why would you want to take a 6501 and put it on 5501 frame? Well, when I'm pier fishing, I can only take 4 rods out there for king mackerel. 2 of those go with the king mackerel setup. You got your anchor rod and your fighting rod. Well, so that leaves you with 2 rods. You got a bait rod and a plug-in rod, because the Spanish are, if the king are around, the Spanish are around. Normally, excuse me just a second. I've got a little bit of allergies going on here. I have to keep my nose cleaned out. So what I would do is, since I can only take 4 rods out there, I'm gonna have my plug-in rod, which is usually a spinning gear setup. And this bait rod will have a sabiki rig on it where I can jig up bait fish. But sometimes I like to set a bait. Once I've got my bait fish caught and in the basket, ready to be used in a live well, whatever, I'll sometimes throw a bottom rig out. So I want to set my bait clicker. But then I also may have to use it for plugging. Let's say my plug-in rod breaks. Well, this is a lot to handle on a pier. It's a lot of line. So I like to go with a little bit narrower frame. It makes it easier to cast. And so that's why I like to take the 65 or 5501s. Anyway, it's complicated, but it works. So you have to trust me on it. You have to be pretty redundant out there. It's not like you can just, where I fish at, it takes about half an hour to walk to your car and back. So I put a little more oil on the bearing there. This is your centrifugal weight cage. This is your snap ring that holds that in there. So you're going to put that in, pop it in place. Then on this side, it just gets the bearing. I'll give it a little more help. And then this gear just pops in place. So it's just, that's all it is to it. It feels like it's loose, but trust me, it's fine. Now I've already lubricated this with ballistol. I like to spray it down because it gets up in the little places that you can't really get to, and it dries, but it doesn't really dry. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's the truth. All right, let's put some grease on this bad boy. This is your pinion. And it will slide into here. And sometimes you gotta give it a little bit of help. Pick it up just a little bit. Like, I just kind of jam a screwdriver down in there. It's got plenty of spring it won't hurt it. And you can kind of get that lined up and drop it. Now we're going to pop it back in gear, basically. So it's just like that. Now, put this in there. A little bit of oil. Slide this in. And then your anti-reverse haul needs to slide back into that. There's a couple of different ways you can do this, but I like doing it this way the best. I'll just take a small screwdriver and spread those teeth just a little bit. And it goes just like that. It goes around. One tooth goes on top, one tooth goes on the bottom on that cog. And that gives your anti-reverse. Watch this. See there? Isn't that amazing? Smart stuff right there. So this isn't an instant anti-reverse reel. Okay, now we're ready for some cow's drag grease. This will replace, I think this is the right one. Oh no, I got this wrong. Hold on a minute. Good grief. I was about to make a mistake there, wasn't I? Yeah. What I did, I put the wrong washer. It's this one here. It's bigger than that one, so yeah. Okay. Put the wrong one back in the box. Now, put some cows on there and rub it in really good. I put this stuff on everything, man. I put it on my French fries, my hot dogs, hamburger. This is good stuff. I'm just kidding. Goes in there just like that. Then we're going to put some grease on the gear. Speaking of hot dogs, I might get a hot dog for lunch today. I hadn't had a good hot dog in a long time. And just kind of rub that grease into those teeth. There it is. Whoops. Drag fell out of it. Put that down on there. Then we got the outer drag washer. And that looks just a little bit big, but I think it's all right. Yeah. I got a rag over here and a rag over there. Which one do I want to use? All right. Then this goes on. That drag just doesn't want to sit down in there very good. That's odd. There it goes. We'll push it in there. Yeah, it just doesn't want to seat down. There it went, I think. Or did it? No, it popped out. That's so odd. Never had one do that stuff before. Okay. Well, we got a little issue then. Is this got to go in there or the stack won't be right. And now this one. There being problems today. Okay. Let's get this drag washer off of here. For some reason, it's just slightly larger. Boy, it ain't larger by much. The inside diameter is perfect. It's the outside diameter. Well, this is what you do. You got to modify sometimes. If you don't have the right part, you make the right part. Just gonna give it a little trim. A little trim around the ears. So what it was, I took this drag washer out of a 7000 kit. It's just a little bit different, not even a millimeter difference in the outside diameter. There we go. Perfect. Just filed it down a little bit. Back on track. Gets that. It gets a wavy washer. It gets a regular washer. And it gets one of these two washers here have little steps in them. Those steps are where it meets that gear. I mean that bearing. You wouldn't want the washer to rub the outside of the race. So it's got a little shoulder in it where it rubs the inner race. So it goes, that one goes in with the shoulder up. And then the bearing, we'll give the bearing a little go juice. And then this one goes with the shoulder down towards the bearing. That's the whole stack. We're going to put the top on it now. A little bit of grease where those two cover screws go. And you'll drop this on. And sometimes you got to play with that thumb release just a little bit and it'll pop in place. Oh, John, hold on. You know what I did wrong? That washer's got to go on all the way at the very bottom. It's stuck to my finger. All right. It goes on all the way to the bottom. And then you put your gear back on. Then reset the anti-reverse pawl. Like that. Now we can put the top back on. All right. Sorry about that. Forgot all about it. Why is it not wanting to seat? There. Golly. Aggravating thing. So I think I'm going to post this thing up on a Sunday morning just for the heck of it. I love these ambassadors. I think what I'm going to start doing from now on is reels that I do for myself. I'm going to post them on Sundays once a week, and the reels I do for that I'm going to sell, I'll probably do them normal Saturday and Wednesday format like I've been doing. This goes in, put some oil on that because it slides, the pinion slides up and down that. So you want it good and smooth. You put that in there, and in this little clip, you see you got some ears on it there. I don't know if I can get that to focus or not, but they go down. So it goes in there like that. And then your cap gets these two shims. Just put them in there and roll them up good. And then I always put a little bit of grease right there where the threads are. It helps lubricate that O-ring too. There's an O-ring on there. And then you put this together. And then that holds that retains that shaft. Whoops. So when you, I'll show you in just a second. As soon as I get the drag knob on where everything will stay together. Oh, for Pete's sake. I got that thing cross-threaded first thing. All right, here we go. So when you take this reel apart, the spool will come out with the shaft, and you can change your spools out on the water. I carry a couple extra spools. Okay. I straightened that handle out. It was bent. I've got plenty of these handles, but we're just going to go with this one. It takes a handle washer, handle, snap ring or E-clip. Put that on there, and hopefully I won't send it flying. I always put my thumb over it. Try not to pinch your thumb. Golly, John. Are you kidding me? All right, and then you can put your handle nut on there. Left-hand reels, left-hand threads. Almost every manufacturer would do that. It's a 10 millimeter, but I always just use the adjustable wrench. Either line your flat or a point, pointing at that hole. It usually works out where a flat lines it up. And then you can just put the screw right in there. All right, a little bit of grease on those threads. Put the spool on the reel. Make sure your weights are pushed in. Put this on there like this. And we'll give that gear a little bit of oil. Brings up a good point. That whole shaft rides in that, and I haven't been lubricating that, so it's something I might want to look at on future reels. But it goes together just like this. Well, okay. Why is it? There it goes. It's still not together all the way. What the hell's up with that? There we go. This one's been a little bit aggravating. I think it's so in such new condition, it just doesn't want to pop together. It's not, doesn't have enough wear to it for it to pop together easily. I always give those thumb knobs just a little eighth of a turn past finger tight. Adjust the spool. I don't worry so much. I don't use this for cast control. This is my cast control. The thumb for these reels. Let's give it some drag. Oh yeah. Alright, that'll handle a fish. For an all stock reel, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's going to be a good caster. The only thing left to do is a little bit of oil on these paddles. Put some 17-pound suffix on there and it's good to go. There it is. This is John, Vintage Fisherman. I've enjoyed this. This is my favorite reels. There's that snap-on tool. I did talk to my snap-on guy yesterday. He's going to warranty that for me. He said he'd go ahead and order one and bring it with him the next time he comes to the shop. All right. This is John, Vintage Fisherman. I appreciate you watching the channel. Please like and subscribe. I'll be back with more. I got plenty of stuff to do.